Still a lot of room to improve. I think that's every coach says that after every game, but saw some really good positives and some negatives that we need to fix, and that's coach's talk again. But if we can put it all together and have a clean game, I think we'll be a lot more successful. And I've said it before, just we need to have our best game this weekend. It needs to happen. So I know a lot of people are impatient. Trust me, we're more impatient here as a coaching staff and as a team with our players, and we want to get our best out there. But it's always tough losing close games. You want to evaluate everything, and you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and you just try to find ways to get wins. Looking at that, and our team's used to close games. I mean, last year, those two close games that they were able to eke out with Hail Marys, that's just have to find ways to win games. And Hail Marys aren't ideal, but they get done if you make it work. So those one or two plays we need to find a way to make. And in order for us to not come down to one or two plays at the end of the game, we need to find ways to be more consistent throughout.
Was it good to see your offense get on track a little bit, though?
Yeah, and that's going to have to be. I mean, I think there's no secret going into the season that we needed Jamal to be ready, and we need to put a lot of the load on him. And he did some good things running the ball. I think Taysom did some great things running the ball as well. So the run game was there. The O-line blocked a lot better. I thought they did some really good things pass protection as well. And we just need to be consistent, and I would say the most improvement we need to make on offense is scoring touchdowns instead of having to settle for field goals, and that's going to be the key for us.
Anything stand out about Toledo if you've had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I mean, well-coached team. I think that there's a lot of carryover. His head coach was the offensive coordinator from before, and they play hard, and they're really efficient offensively, and they do great defensively. So it's another tough opponent, and definitely respect what they do as a team, and looking forward to having them back home. I'm glad we're home for this game. It'll be a huge advantage for us, I believe.
You substituted defensively a little differently in the last game. Looked like you had 4 or 5 guys going in at a time at some point. So you're trying to do that to combat the nature of the other team's offense, the quick pace and all that.
Yeah,
how did it work, do you think?
I think since Arizona, we really haven't had much stress as far as substitution. And so when they sub, we subbed, and then they went a little faster than, just like Arizona, they went faster than Utah and UCLA. And so we wanted to utilize all our guys, and our backup player, our second player at 100% should be better than our first player at 70%. So that's, especially in those long drives, we'd just like to get out of those drives. And I think you saw more rotation because the drives got extended, and we weren't able to get out of those third downs. Some of the third downs that we had early on in those drives. They had a long, I think 4 or 5 really long drives that we should have got out of.
What's the key to getting maybe a little more pass rush out of that than against some of these teams that like to throw it so quickly?
Yeah, well, we have to take advantage of. I mean, we had opportunities that we could have sacked him, and I think he was really elusive and did some good things with his feet. But a lot of our technique and a lot of our fundamentals got to come into play, especially with the defensive line. Being able to collapse the pocket and get to the quarterback and get hits on the quarterback. Doesn't always have to register in the sacks, but if we can disrupt the quarterback's timing, just get in his face and make him move a little bit. If a quarterback sets up and has no disruption, it becomes like a Skelly type of drill, 7-on-7, where most quarterbacks can throw accurately if they don't have to move. So we need to find ways to disrupt them and let them know that we're there, just to throw the timing off a little bit and maybe alter the pass.
Will having Travis back help? Did that help in that game, or will that help moving forward?
Not as much. I mean, obviously, it's always a game time deal with Travis, and he felt comfortable getting in the game. But we'll see how it goes this week. There's one less day for him to recover. So we'll figure it out and we'll see how it goes. But it was nice to have him out on the field, and hopefully he can increase reps.
How do you look just with those limited reps too?
He looked good at some. I mean, he's still rusty, so there wasn't it's his first live reps that he's had all for a long time. He didn't do anything for live reps in camp, and obviously didn't play in the earlier games. So there's a little bit of rust, but you can see that there's a lot of explosive power in his movement. So it'd be nice to get him as much as we can, but knowing that there's a long season and that looking at his future as well, want to do it the right way and be smart.
Challenges of a short week?
Oh, none. I mean, I'm actually excited, and I know our players are excited to just get on the field. again, and so it's one less day to wait, so the guys are chomping at the bit, and they want to play well, and as long as we just show more poise and do what we're supposed to and trust each other, we'll be fine.
You're playing an opponent that's coming off a bye for the second straight week. Is that overrated, or is that a thing? Can you get an advantage coming off a bye?
Well, obviously they have more rest time, but for us, it's a disadvantage only because there's one less game to prepare for. But luckily, offensively, they do some things that they've carried over for the last 6-7 years, and so there's a lot to work with in that. And obviously they have some different talent than they did the graduating class last year, but they're coached really well, and we're expecting their best shot. They've done some great things. They've never had a close game. They blew out the 3 previous opponents, so we're expecting a team that's used to having success offensively and defensively, and we'll have to be ready. We're not overlooking anybody, and we respect our opponents so much that we want to make sure we're prepared for it.
The kick return game's been really good for you guys. Just an emphasis through camp, or just really good talent there? What do you think is the?
I think all of it's been really good. I think Ed Lamb's done a great job at coordinating our special teams, and JD Falsler's done a great job with the return teams. We've given him that lead there with Ed, and having those guys prepare them, and Harvey Young being there to help prepare that return team. So the coach has done a great job scouting and also preparing our guys and putting the right personnel on the field. So. We're looking forward to getting more returns. I think the ball doesn't sail as much when you're down sea level, so we were able to capitalize on some returns. But I got to give a lot of credit to the players themselves and the coaches that do the work.
You got a run here of a few weekday games coming up. Do you prefer weekday games, or would you rather have a traditional Saturday format?
I don't care as long as there's a 100-yard field, we can play football. What makes this special is that we're home. So really looking forward to that, and just anticipating playing our best ball.
You've made this your profession for a long time. A lot of your peers lost their job after just 1 month into this season. What are your thoughts about that in your profession, that coaches can lose their job after a couple of games?
Yeah, it's a tough business, but I'm not worried about that. If anything, this season being 1-3 right now has brought our team closer than ever. This is one of the closest teams I've ever been a part of, and so nothing's going to divide this group. We've lost some close ones, and we have the power to make a change. And so we decide when and how we're going to play this weekend. And like I said, our guys are preparing hard to make sure that we play our best game, and we're planning on that being this Friday.
What have you done to make this team so close? Because they all talk about that. What has been your approach?
I think it's the culture that they have already. It's not nothing I've done specifically. I think that having all the guys that have been involved with BYU football here on staff and have lived through it, they can kind of, there's someone that knows what you're going through. You know what I mean? So I think that has something to add to it. But other than that, I have to give a lot of credit to the players and the leadership and their willingness to keep this team close. Saw some great things from our leaders in this last game, this last week, and I think it's going to be huge for us to build for what we're trying to get done this weekend.
When you look at film for Toledo, is there any one game that you emphasize that has maybe a similar talent level?
No, we have to look at all of them. I think that the structure and the scheme and basically the foundation of what they're trying to do offensively, defensively, and special teams wise will all be the same, regardless of talent. It's not like you don't line up to a certain way just because you're more dominant in personnel. But I don't think that there's really much to add to that. We'll focus on all the games that we have and even look into some of the stuff that we saw last year.
How do you think Rhett Allman performed? Is Jake Oldroyd going to be out for an extended period of time also?
Yeah, Rhett's done really well. It was difficult for him to lose that spot during the first game, but he stuck with it and kept working, and we still traveled him. We felt comfortable with him being on the travel list, and he's worked his way, and now that he's had his opportunity, I think he's taken every chance to seize it, and he's done well. So, you give credit to our snapper, and Foley, and also with Juergens holding the ball. They've been really consistent, and that helps out for a kicker.
Offensively, you've targeted Oliva Hifo a little more as the season's gone on. What did he show you in practice that you think he could be a contributor? as a
Well, he's got
freshman?
tons of speed, and you saw it on that return, I think. You can see that there's a difference, and he's elusive, and he's a playmaker, and, you know, we have to invest in him, being able to get open, especially when we're going against a lot of man coverage type of teams. And so he gives us that I mean, we have a lot of great receivers anyways, but if they're not big like Nick and Morona and give you a big target, then they got to be shifty and can move like Juergens and the Levican and Botan. We have some guys that we've been working with. So, you know, but I think more than anything, he's becoming more trustworthy. I mean, it's hard when a true freshman steps on the field, but I think Ty and Taysom and the rest of the guys starting to see that he's starting to emerge as a guy that can be counted on.
Seemed like the receivers had a little bit more of an edge against West Virginia. What made the difference in them?
I think they played well. I think that all the talk about, you know, going against man coverage was really difficult for them to take. And they're guys that have a lot of pride too, and their coach wants to make sure that they do well. And if you watch the film, which we did, I was really impressed with the receivers and how they played. They were to get some separation. Obviously, we want to make more plays when the ball's up for grabs. But we'll keep working on that. And then what I liked is that they blocked downfield and the effort was there. And you know, they had a little chip on their shoulder, and that's going to stay, you know, throughout the whole year until they can, you know, change some people's thoughts.
When Taysom split the defenders, converged, and he tried to jump over him, what did you think on the sidelines when you saw that?
Just let him do what he does. You know, that's. I mean, I wouldn't jump like that because I can't. But, I mean, he got up and he landed on his feet and spun around and still had a chance to score. So, yeah, we just let Taysom do it. And he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable running the ball. You can see that he's starting to trust, you know, his foot, starting to trust and starting to come back with his vision of the field and being able to find grass. And so I was really impressed with the things he did. And for a quarterback to run for that many yards is difficult to do. And he's going to keep doing that, and hopefully we keep relying on him to do things with his feet as well as with his arm.
Last question. Coach, this is your first non-P5 opponent, kind of sandwiched in between two P5s. How do you?
Don't even worry about that.
You know?
No. Everybody's a P5 to us. I mean, talk about respecting our opponents, and they deserve our respect because they're a great team. You see the things that they've done, and not just this year, but things that they've done in the past with their head coach as the offensive coordinator. You know, I think that's the best way to do it. We're focused on what we do as a team. That's what we've always been focused on, but they have every much of our respect as we can give to our opponents, the same that we've given to our first four.
Thank you.
All right, guys.